Welcome to the internal and external conflict adventure. Tap the glowing signboard to open the first chapter of your story. Welcome to the world of stories. Every hero faces a challenge, and that's called conflict. In this adventure, you'll explore two kinds: battles inside the character's mind and outside in the world. You'll see how conflict makes stories exciting and helps characters grow. Let's get started. Welcome to the Exploring Conflicts room. Pick up a glowing book and place it into the magical reader. To unlock part of a story, listen carefully and read along. Then click the button to discover what kind of conflict it shows and how it changes the story. Try every book to become a conflict master. Billy held his breath as the mountain lions circled closer. His dogs, Old Dan and Little Ann, stood beside him, growling, their muscles tense. "Please don't let him die," Billy whispered. External conflict, man versus nature. Billy's fight against the wilderness shows his deep bond with his dogs. This conflict adds tension and highlights his loyalty and courage. Brian's arms screamed with pain as he struck the hatchet against the stone again and again. He could feel the blisters forming on his hands, the hunger clawing at his stomach. The wilderness was unforgiving and he was utterly alone. External conflict, man versus nature. Brian's battle with hunger, injury, and the elements forces him to adapt and survive. His struggle against nature builds resilience, teaching him self-reliance and determination. Kevin looked up at me, his eyes full of fire. "You can do this, Max. You're not dumb, no matter what they say. You're not what they make you think you are." But I wasn't sure I could believe him. Internal conflict. Max battles his self-doubt, shaped by years of being told he's worthless. This internal struggle adds depth to his character and strengthens his friendship with Kevin, which ultimately gives him confidence. I have been in this cage for years. I do not remember what it feels like to touch the grass, to feel the sun warm my back. The humans watch, but they do not see. I am just a gorilla and I am alone. Internal conflict. Ivan struggles with loneliness and captivity. This conflict propels the story forward as his desire for freedom leads to his transformation from passive observer to active hero. Cassie's hands clenched into fists as she listened to the storekeeper's sneering voice. "You wait your turn, girl," he said. "White folks come first." She wanted to scream, to fight back, but she knew she had to stay quiet. External conflict, man versus society. Cassie's struggle against racial injustice builds the novel's central theme of resilience. This conflict forces her to navigate a world of prejudice while learning when to resist and when to endure. He had seen a birthday party with one child singled out and celebrated on his day, so that now he understood the joy of being an individual, special and unique. But at the same time, he'd seen his father's hands carefully, patiently killing the smallest new child. He felt a ripping sensation inside, the feeling of terrible pain. Internal conflict. Jonas struggles with the painful realization that his seemingly perfect world hides deep injustices. This internal battle between obedience and moral awakening drives his decision to escape, shaping his transformation into a hero. Meg screamed as she clutched at Charles Wallace. He was slipping away from her, his expression blank and distant, his voice no longer his own. "You have to fight it," she cried, but he only smiled coldly. External conflict, man versus supernatural. Meg's battle against the powerful mind control of IT forces her to rely on love and inner strength. This conflict drives her emotional development, showing the power of human connection. Esperanza stared at her hands. They were no longer smooth and unblemished like they had been when she lived in Mexico. They were now rough, with blisters from work. She knew she was changing, but she didn't know if she was ready for it. Internal conflict. Esperanza grapples with her identity and struggles to accept her new life after losing her wealth. This conflict highlights her character growth from privilege to resilience. The waves crashed against the rocks as Karana looked out at the empty ocean. She was alone. No tribe, no family, just her and the island. She had no choice now but to survive. External conflict, man versus nature. Karana's struggle against isolation and the wild forces her to become self-sufficient. Her journey is one of endurance and transformation as she learns to live independently. Awesome job. You finished your first mission and learned how conflict moves the story and grows the characters. Now follow the glowing arrows back to the library hall. More fun awaits. Heads up, your next challenge begins in 30 seconds. Stay ready, you'll be teleported automatically. Welcome to the Identifying Conflicts Challenge. In this game, you'll read and listen to story scenes. Use your magical stick to hit the type of conflict you think it is, then get instant feedback to see if you got it right. Let's see how sharp your story sense really is. Billy's heart pounded as the mountain lion crept closer. His dog stood beside him growling. He had to protect them no matter what. Where the red fern grows. Not quite. This is an external conflict because Billy is physically facing an outside danger. The mountain lion. Brian's arm screamed with pain as he struck the hatchet against the stone. He was hungry, exhausted, and alone in the wilderness, but he had to keep going. Hatchet. Correct. Brian is physically struggling against nature, making this an external conflict, man versus nature. Max clenched his fists. His whole life, people had told him he was dumb, useless, but Kevin believed in him. Could he believe in himself? Freak the mighty. Correct. Max is struggling with self-doubt, making this an internal conflict. Esperanza stared at her hands, rough with blisters. She had once been wealthy, but now she was a worker. Could she ever accept this new life? Esperanza rising. Not quite. The conflict here is within Esperanza's mind as she struggles to accept her changed circumstances.